Hey friends, Jules here, and today's episode is all about why it's so important to celebrate victories. And I'm not talking just the big, major, I should have a parade in my honor type victories. I'm talking the little ones, the teensy tiny, the teensy tiny, the teeny tiny little ones, the middle sized ones, all the way up to your dreams coming true. So stay tuned and we're going to dive deeper into a big old celebration. Hey there, Jules here, and welcome to Jules Loves Me, the podcast. My life is a surrender experiment where I choose faith over fear to follow my intuition. And it has all led me here to share wholehearted stories about what I've learned along the way. So take a nice deep breath, settle in, and remember, the light in me loves the light in you. Now let the elevation of your soul's experience begin. Now, before we pop the bubbly on this celebration we're about to have, I want to extend a major thank you to all of our listeners who have sent a text, have sent messages, and let us know how much you are digging the fact that we're back. And we're so grateful for you. Thank you for your encouragement and all of your love. Now, let's talk about celebrations. I wanted to talk about this because I have some things that I'm celebrating and I want to share that with you. And B, I know that anytime the idea of celebrating or bringing attention to a victory, even just a small win, like a tiny thing, sometimes you can feel, I don't know, a little silly for doing that. And I want to throw all that out the window. So not only am I going to share what's going on with me and what I'm celebrating, but we're also going to hear the male perspective. So babe, this is an awesome opportunity to have two perspectives on the idea of celebrations and victories.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know just from my own personal experience as a woman and also the stories that I hear from my friends who are also women, there seem to be some kind of bar we have to hit, exceed before we can allow ourselves to really celebrate. And I'm not sure what that's all about, but there have been comments made in conversation where it's like, oh, this thing happened and it's really exciting, blah, 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 blah. And we just roll right through it and I'm like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. Can we celebrate that for a minute? Can we just, camp out there for a moment and feel that? And almost always the other person is like, oh yeah. Oh, I guess I should. I guess I should acknowledge that.
Well, you're definitely talking to, the right person because I'm the king of rolling right past the things that should be celebrated. This is
the king of the roll through.
Yes. Be like,
Oh.
yep, keep it moving. Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. There's been so many times in our relationship that I can remember back where you're like, can we celebrate that? And I'm like, celebrate what? Oh, that little thing? Psh, it's nothing. It's nothing. And you're like, it is something. And so you are the reason that I try to slow down and pay attention to these things, and the reason that I can actually have something educated to say, on the topic. So,
oh my goodness.
ooh.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, seriously, I mean, it's for me, when it comes to celebrating something, it's like, I feel like it's the expectation. Like if you accomplish something, there was at some point in time you had the expectation of accomplishing that thing. And so when it happens, it's not that some great thing happened, your expectation just came true. The thing you expected to happen happened. And so now you can check that off your to-do list and you can keep moving. You know what I mean? And so that's the mentality that keeps me in a non-celebrating mode, where it's like it's just another item on a to-do list versus something to like, I didn't add party this thing underneath that checkbox on my to-do list. You know, it should have been like do the thing and then celebrate, do the thing and then do the next thing. But I didn't put that on the to-do list. So
Okay, whoa. I think you just solved everybody's problem.
Yep.
If that's your philosophy and that's how, if you are the king or queen of the roll through it and just on to the next. So the key is to add that to your to-do list. So we can just insert the pause for the party. Okay, continue.
Doesn't that make sense though?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it comes down to. You know, it's like it could be a huge personal goal where you're like, I just want to do this thing, but you know, you get to it and you get through it and you're like, well, nobody's running up and celebrating me because of this thing or doing it for me. So I guess I'll just keep on, you know, moving in this direction that, you know, that I guess I'm going in, you know, and just knocking stuff off my goal list.
And you are bringing me right to the place that I want to get to, which is one, I wanted to talk about integrity and how integrity plays a role in this. So I'm sure you're thinking like, what the heck does integrity have to do with it? Well, integrity is not only about being a good person. There's different definitions for integrity. I'm talking about being a whole structurally sound being on all levels, right? So when I'm in that space of feeling connected to who I am and what I'm doing, right? And I feel sound in that. I don't need anybody else to celebrate me. I'm fine doing it for myself because I know truly that's my job. I'm the one who is with me doing all the work, every step of it. And I'm also the one who gets to go, yay, you. Yay, Jules, you did it. Wow. Not only is this so good for our esteem when we talk to ourselves like this, so there's a bonus point there. And side note, when you use the third person, it's like an extra cheering section happens in your nervous system and your esteem. I'm not even kidding. Look it up. LeBron James, that's how he does it. That's his secret. The phenom, that's his secret. He talks to himself in third person in his head with his self-talk. So anyways, I digress.
It's good to be Josh Fritz.
It's good to be Jules. So the whole point of what I'm saying is, if you feel like, well, nobody else is celebrating me, why should I celebrate me? Right? Which is, I think you're echoing what a lot of people feel, because I certainly felt like that before, where I thought, oh, well, this feels silly to have a party in my own name, right? But the thing is that when you do that, you not only are helping to build your integrity, because you know that you took that pause and you were kind to yourself. You were supportive to yourself. You were a good friend to yourself. And that kind of stuff matters. When you think no one's looking, you are. You are always looking because you're always with you, right? So that's one major point. The other side of it. So for someone who's like, well, that's not a strong enough case, Jules. What else you got? Well, I got something else. The other part of it is that when you're able to track those small wins, those little micro victories, it keeps you on track. So you track it, you keep track of it, and then it keeps you moving in the direction of your bigger goal. So if you just keep rolling through, how do you know where you are in your process? How do you know how far away you are from getting to your big goal? Right? So if we break these things down and we realize, oh, well, just to finish this is going to be a huge marker of, oh, wow, I've just finished the first quarter and now I have 3 more parts of this plan and then I'll be done. We can celebrate that, right? But instead, we don't really look at it like that. We're like, oh, no big deal. So on that side,
it's also really important to help build us up because we're keeping track of our wins and our victories.
Right.
So integrity, it helps to build your integrity. And then it's also helping to keep you on track.
You just reminded me of another reason why I allow my joy to be stolen when I complete something or something happens. It's like and I thought about when we walked around here, when we first walked around and we started pointing out things that we wanted to do. I will often, when I accomplish those things, if too much time has passed in between the time when I set the goal and the time when I finish the goal, then I don't register it as being something that was like completed in a good way. It's like yeah, you finished it, but it took 2 years. It's like, well, so what? So some things take 10 years. It's like,
oh my goodness,
right? I realized that just as you were talking, I'm like, I've totally allowed myself to. It's like I pointed that out that needed to be done 2 years ago, and I just got to it. So I'm going to take the celebration away because it took me 2 years to get to it.
Yeah. So whatever.
I'm so lazy.
I was going to say insert negative words here that aren't helpful.
Right.
Right. And so, and you could reframe it and go, well, yay, I got it done. And it didn't take me 10 years.
Yeah.
it only took
me
two. So, I like to play these games with myself because they really help me.
Yeah.
And, the big thing was that kind of leads to one of the big things that I'm celebrating, which is I got my book proposal done.
Done. DONE, done.
Oh my gosh. And just to what you're saying, like it didn't take me the time that I thought it was going to take me. I thought it was going to take me 3 months. It took me 4 months. And that negative thoughts tried to come through and say, well, you took longer than what you expected. And it was just a month. It's
You're running a little late on this deadline.
You're a little late, girl. You're right. And it wasn't even, I was trying to do things in a shorter time frame than what I needed to. Like I actually had 4 months, but didn't want to wait all that time.
And it was smart to play the buffer out.
And it was great because I didn't expect, there was about a month's worth of life that happened. And if you've listened to Reemergence, the episode before this one, you know what happened. And, I couldn't foresee any of this stuff happening. So I had to roll with it. And the thing is that month of life that happened that I didn't plan for was beautiful. Like, I'm so grateful it happened. So, but in my moment of victory and celebration, that negative thought system wanted to steal that from me. And go, but you didn't get it when you said you were. And it's like, wait a minute. That is not true. So I allowed myself to celebrate and I allowed myself to feel that despite everything that happened, I got it done, and I just had to keep telling myself the truth. So that's another part of it is like when those thoughts come in and try to derail you and steal your joy, you have to, again, be your friend. You have to be your own friend and say, that's not true. Let's bring that back around. Let's reframe this. Let's make sure that we're not getting lost here. So the other thing is I also started school. So when we recorded Reemergence, it was like, I'm gonna go. Well, now I'm in it.
Welcome to Cornell.
Hey. And I wanted to tell the story of what happened on my first day. Because as it was happening, I was laughing to myself thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to tell everybody this story. Because not only do we want to celebrate the wins and the victories, but you want to also share the moments that are hard and where you make it through, because those are also victories. When you didn't want to, when you thought you wanted to quit, but you didn't, or you were scared and you did it anyways because you decided to be brave. Those are giant victories. So before I go into my school story, I want us to sit back and just think of a moment like I'm describing where it doesn't necessarily feel like it was a big win, but maybe you were scared and you chose to be brave. Maybe something was hard and you helped yourself through it. Maybe you wanted to quit and you didn't. I just want to sit here right now and celebrate that. All right, so now that we've celebrated and we feel that joy, joy, joy in our hearts, here's my story. So it's school day and I'm so excited. I'm ready. Here I am. So I log on because I'm doing virtual learning and I can't figure out where my course is because I have to figure out a new student portal or a student portal. And so I'm in there and I'm trying to find things and I'm starting to pace back and forth. I'm going from the sunroom to the living room and I'm just starting to feel the imposter syndrome trying to take me down. And I start feeling panicky and I'm telling you, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. I didn't know it was gonna feel like this. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay.
It was really interesting because you were like you were doing a really good job of trying to reassure yourself that you were going to be okay, but you were in the midst of like a freak out of like you said. I mean, I could tell you felt silly, like you should know this.
So the narrative that was playing out was, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are showing up, acting like you're going to go to school, you're going to Cornell, ooh, big fancy, and now look at you, you can't even figure it out. And I was like, but I'm gonna figure it out, because I was trying to be there for myself. I'm the only one who's in there with me while I'm having this imposter syndrome, this wave of lies coming at me. And I knew it. I know better. And so I just had to remind myself of that so I could do better in that moment. So I allowed myself to just feel it for a moment. And then I put my hand on my heart and I did the rest in God. I rest in God meditation. And I did that and I felt calm. I was able to bring my nervous system back to a nice steady place to where I could at least, try to navigate my way through. And I get through it. All of a sudden, whoa, I'm finding out where I'm supposed to go. All right, looks like I'm not going to fail after all, right? So I'm okay. And I start watching these videos and I was so overwhelmed with joy and gratitude because the content that I was tuning into was about readiness, your personal readiness, and how your mindset has so much to do with everything. And if you believe you can do something, you'll do it. And if you believe you can't do something, then you won't do it. And it was just such a timely message in the midst of what I had just gone through. And now the whole time I know I'm going to figure it out. I know that, right? I've been through enough crazy things in my life to know, like, I always figure it out. But it's when that wave hits you that you don't allow it to take you out. You don't allow it to take you down because you stand tall in the truth that you really do know what you're doing. Even if it's the first time and you have to figure your way through it, you have to figure it out, you'll do it. You just know how to believe that. That's the whole key of it. You have to know how to believe that. So I did, and I felt great. And then my professor's like throwing out quotes from Brene Brown, and I was like, these are my people. Like, yes, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And I am celebrating that I not only made it through that day, that was the micro win, but I completed my first school project, and it was a beast. Yay! So I'm so grateful that I'm on the other side of that and I have that under my belt, and it's building confidence and it's building up the knowing that I am in the right place and all this happened for a reason.
You mentioned a wave a few minutes ago about, that wave that hits you in that moment, and is that the not enough wave, the I'm not enough wave that just like
Oh yeah.
it just wants to
Yeah.
flood in?
I'm not enough. Right. Absolutely. It, however the I'm not enough works its way in so many different various ways to distract you. You think, oh, well, I mean, sometimes it shows up loud and clear as I'm not enough, but sometimes it's sneakier than that. And it's like I said, it can be even meaner than that with who do you think you are? I get that one sometimes. And I have to be like, I'm a child of God. That's who I am. That's right. That's why I'm here. How do you think I got here? So
Yeah.
I have to, just, almost be sassy at times in my boldness. And that's what works for me.
So I'd like to share a little victory that I had the other day.
Ooh, tell us everything.
I don't think I've actually celebrated it at all yet, but we can celebrate it right now publicly. So I try to use the things that we teach, especially the Ah method that you've created, and it lays into a part of my thought process. As I deal with like ups and downs and struggles, I feel it in there, and so. One of the biggest things that I struggle with is parenting, with the kids. When the kids go into meltdown or being super upset, I don't know what to do with them. Part of me wants to just shut down and be like, figure it out. You know what I mean?
And then
just
and then you
deal
remember
with it.
you're two.
Oh yeah.
Both, and there's two
Or
of
you're
you.
7, and then you just don't have all the tools that you need yet. And so the other day, Julian was really upset about a project that he had made, and he got water on it, and it kind of ruined it. And he just got really, really upset, and I couldn't figure out how to get him to calm down. And so I started, I felt the feelings come up inside of like wanting to shut down with him, basically, and just like be upset, with him and at him for being so upset about his thing being wet. And I decided to move away from that and try to see him for his upset, to see him for the struggle he was going through, and try to help him through the emotion. And so we worked through the Ah method together, slowly. And I kind of led him through the different steps to kind of just bring him back to his awareness. But it really did help him. It helped him get out of a state of being a complete puddle where he was just crying and couldn't figure his way up, into where he came up with a new idea of how he was going to fix his project and how we were going to move forward with it, tomorrow. And it was a real simple thing. It was a small parenting win, to be able to bring him out of something that he was really deeply feeling. And I appreciated, I appreciated the time that I put into it in that moment. I appreciated the awareness of knowing what to do in that moment. And I really appreciated the results of seeing him in a happier state than he was when we started. So I will take 5 and celebrate that victory.
Hey, and I don't think that's a small one. I think any parent listening is like, no, bro, that's a big one. That is a big, big one. So anytime you can help your child through something that is important to them or is causing them suffering, at any level. He had worked so hard on that particular project, and it just kind of all fell apart in his mind. And so he fell apart with it, and you were able to help him regulate to
Right.
emotionally regulate. And that's a huge victory. So, yay!
Yeah. Dude, look, we're dancing over here. Y'all don't think you can see it, but we're dancing right here on the daybed.
So I have a story which is celebratory and it's also miraculous. So Josh and I have been on a serious pivot throughout this entire pandemic, and you may or may not know that we lost quite a bit of our income in 2020, 92% to be exact. And I say that because I want to make sure that I use our situation, as always, as a testimony to everything being available in the moment that you need it. And you can definitely freak yourself out in those moments, or you can trust that you can surrender into miracles and things will happen to support you, guide you, and just be with you. And so this situation was really special because I had had a conversation with a nearby hospital that has a hospice program. And we were talking about working together, me bringing in my method and workshops for the children who have lost someone. And they do a program that supports the kids and gives them different tools and support throughout the rest of their healing journey. And so the director was telling me how, because of COVID, so many of their places where they normally host their camps had closed, and they were going to use one place, but it wasn't their favorite, but it had covered area. So that was what was important for them. They had learned that they kind of just need a space to be able to gather under in case it rains. And so she said, we really like a campy camp vibe, but that's not really an option this year. And I said, that's so interesting that you say that, because I live on campy camp. Like, I have 25 acres where we are looking to bring children and their families here to heal on our land. And I said, so thank you for letting me know what to look out for. Thank you for letting me know to look out for covered space. I'll put that on my list. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking
Pole barn.
pole barns,
Yeah.
permanent structures. I'm thinking, all right, that's going to be a part of phase 5. It's just like, there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of potential, right? And so I thought, but it truly felt that in my heart as that's going to happen. Yeah. And I'm so glad she told me that. And so within about a week, we get an email from the Small Business Association that we're eligible to receive funds for disaster relief. What? Are you serious? Yes. And guess what, girl? This is what the last line said. It didn't say girl. You know what I mean? It said, and these funds do not have to be repaid.
Ever.
Hallelujah. So I immediately tell you, I know that I want to invest this into what we're doing, but I'm not sure where or how yet. So let's just stay open and keep our minds and hearts open to something showing up. And the next day, you're searching on an auction site to help your mom
Right.
with Grammy's estate, and not looking to buy anything, looking to see how it works and how you set that up. And you came back and said, babe, there's like this event rental company that's going out of business, and they got all this stuff for sale. Goodness, I had to scroll through all these tents and I was like, what did you say? Did you say tents? Like, yeah. I'm like, he said, yeah, big tents. Like when you go to a wedding and it's outside and they have these I was like, oh, big outdoor space. Is that what you just said? Do you think we could put people under these tents, maybe in these tents? And you said, and then you started picking up what I was putting down. You're like, yeah, we can do that. So immediately curiosity is at like major level. Like we were like, we got to figure this out. Now we have no idea how much tents cost. We have no idea how this stuff works. All we know is we have inspiration and curiosity. So we just go with that.
Yep.
So tell us what we have.
So this auction was not easy to figure out, for one thing, because everything was separated into bits and pieces, but I figured it out. And so at this point, now that we have completed the auction, all 7 days of it, and picked everything up, we have two 30 by 30 foot commercial tents that we can join together and we can completely enclose for a total of 1,800 square feet of covered space outside.
What?
And we also picked up a 20 by 20 just for you, but I still have to build a frame for that one.
It's got a clear top, y'all. I couldn't resist. I'm just thinking about those nights underneath the stars, if you need covered area and you still want to see the stars, or maybe a greenhouse. I digress. Anyways, back to what else we got.
We also got a really sweet PA system that has a built-in CD player and wireless mics. And so we can easily set up the tents, we can set up our PA system, and we can have an event. It's add some drinks and some food and we're good to go.
Yeah. So we can just sit here and dream of all the different ways that we can use these tents.
And you can sit there and dream about all the ways that we can use these tents.
Yes, you can, friend. Yes, you can. So the amazing part is that it all came through. Not only was there a need that I recognized, and then an auction happens to just show up, but then the SBA is like, oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, we know that you need this. And boom, 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 here we are. Now we're figuring out how to move forward with having these camping retreats, to support the work that we're doing. So just wanted to tell you guys, because this is a huge celebratory, miraculous moment.
Woohoo!
So now we've been talking about celebrations and things that we're accomplishing, big and small. And I hope that you're encouraged to start tracking those small little victories that you would have let just float on by as you go on to the next thing. I hope we've encouraged you to just stick with it and just say, you know what? This is a little one, and then a medium-sized one is going to come along, and then I'm going to get to the big one, and it's going to be amazing. When you do this, you're sending out such a high vibration, And spiritual law says that that high vibration is going to attract more of the high vibration. So you're going to amplify it. So more good is going to come your way just because you're celebrating this thing that you almost overlooked. So allow yourself to feel the good of what you're doing and feel good because of what you're doing. Let's take all this excitement. Let's take this joy. Let's take this energy of possibility. Let's take these dreams that might be dancing around in our hearts right now, getting excited, hearing about miracles that are happening. Let's take all that and let's just bring it in. Let's settle into a nice, quiet moment. Let's make some space for more miracles. And just inhale. And exhale. Let's breathe in everything that this moment has for us right here, right now. And as you exhale, think about breathing out everything else. And from this space, we hold the thought and mind of all that we're working on, all that we're doing, all of the celebrations and victories that we've overlooked. And we allow ourselves to feel forgiveness and grace. Just forgive yourself. Just because you haven't celebrated doesn't mean that you can't. And in this moment, we allow ourselves to feel that now. Let's hold in mind something that happened that didn't quite get the attention that it should have. Thinking about these moments, bring them to life within us. In our hearts right now, we amplify them. We send out the high vibration of gratitude. We are solid in our integrity, knowing that it's not only okay to celebrate, it's a song of praise that we don't want to miss. And may we feel the joy of the future celebrations and victories. Now that we have this awareness, so when they show up, we know what to do. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen. As you continue on with the rest of your day, may you feel all of this love, joy, grace, and peace that is within you. And remember, the light in me loves the light in you. Till next time. You've been listening to Jules Loves Me, the podcast. If you feel uplifted and inspired and seen, I invite you to join us in the Miracle Lab, where we expand these conversations into spiritual teachings. Do you need a mentor or an accountability partner? Come to the lab and let's support each other while we experiment with miracles and grow together. Visit www.themiraclelab.org. Special thanks to my co-host Josh, who's also on production and sound design. And a big thank you to you for listening. Send me a text and let me know what landed. 229-206-9280. I'm your host, Jules, and remember, the light in me loves the light in you. I'll see you in the lab.